Lunch with Leah, episode 424. And here's Leah.
Hi, everybody. It's Leah. I'm 6 feet away from everybody, at least maybe even 10, and everybody has their mask on here. So I just want to show you my new mask. We may manufacture them. We don't know. We don't even know if we can get the fabrics. If we can, we might. Would you buy one? Let me know. Let me know if you'd buy one. It'd probably be like $18, $20. Okay, so now that you've seen my new mask and I bragged about how fabulous I am.
And apologies about the cutoff on the podcast. I forgot to hit the button.
I missed that. Anyway, isn't this lovely?
Emily says hello. She's watching.
Hi, Emily.
From the
How
UK.
are you?
Hi, Emily.
So let's get into it. First of all, RJ got his grades back. Well, we've been holding our breath because when you do online at college, literally you have to go to MIT first. So it's Zoom here, video there, make a video here, tune in here, a lecture there. I mean, just following the flow of it is a full-time thing. And so we were all holding our breaths because you're not interacting with the teacher on a regular basis. You don't really know how your grades are coming because you have a quiz here and a quiz there, but there's no way to tell because you're submitting papers, you're submitting writings, you're submitting Zoom conferences with people and teachers and group projects. So there's no pulse on it like there is at regular school. So I was just like, oh my God, what if he makes bad grades? What if he doesn't pass? Anyway, guess what? 3 A's, a B plus, and a B.
Oh, that's great.
Oh my God! Guess where we're going to celebrate?
Home.
My kitchen.
Your kitchen.
Maybe I'll open the dining room for an hour. Anyway, so look at this. Okay, I don't know if you guys have tried the CBD oil, but we have a podcast promo on it now. And so you can get your 50% off. But you're not going to believe, I've been using it on the tips of my hair, but I've been ironing my hair lately. And I've been using it on RJ. Oh yeah, let's see it right here. Well, you see how fabulous? And it comes with this little dropper, which is fabulous. And RJ has a tendency to have breakouts. And I've been using it on the breakouts. And one of the things it says is it's an antibacterial. It fights bacteria that can cause breakouts. And so I started using it on my cuticles on one hand to test it. And look at this compared to I didn't use it on this hand. Mm-hmm. Can you believe it?
Wow.
I was using it every day. It is. And then Jason pointed out to me that he had a brown spot on his hand and it's faded, like gone, really. And so I remembered I had a brown spot on my hand, which I know I got from driving because I know when I'm in the sun, it pops up a lot bigger. And it's like, I mean, you can't even see it. And so I'm like, oh my God, this is just a miracle product. This is really a $500 value. And you can get, with your podcast discount, $125. But the thing is, the problem we have is going to last you so long that we're never going to get reorders. So anyway, but it's really good. It's packaged in glass with a dropper, and I'm loving it. I've been using it around my lips because, you know, everyone's said they wanted a lip line. Well, I don't have lines around my lips because, one, I've never smoked, probably, and I don't get in the sun. But I have been using it around my lips, and I have had some people tested that had those little fine lines that used to be smokers or that drink out of a straw all the time, which I do that, but I try not to scrunch my lips when I do it. And they've told me that they've seen results with it. But I know if you put the CBD eye cream around there, that also helps those little fine lines. Anyway, there you have that. So, I don't know.
Someone says the screen is frozen, but I think it might be on her side.
Well, honey,
because
I hope it's your problem and not ours.
Yeah, ours is playing Cheryl Harrison. It must be your internet.
Let me be selfish here, Cheryl. I hope it's your problem. Anyway, I love my mask. It's just so fabulous.
That's great.
So now RJ signed up for 2 classes this summer. Art history and math. I said, get that math over with because he's always struggled with math because he doesn't like math. And I'm just praying it's not algebra. Just let it be math, not algebra. because I can do math in my head. Math is easy for me, but algebra, forget about it. I may as well just it's not even happening. I can't do an algebra problem. I mean, I think I can, but I don't do it the traditional way. I go through loops in my head and come up with the answer. I could never write it out. Anyway, and then when he was out of school for 2 weeks, I made him practice driving an hour and a half to 2 hours a day, because he really hasn't driven that much. Even though you get your license at 18, you're not a professional driver, or 16 or whenever you get them. You haven't driven enough. So I made him start going out and driving with Roy on the freeway a couple hours a day, because I'm not getting in the car with him on the freeway. First of all, I'm too nervous. But anyway, and then the dog, Dottie had her stitches, and by the way, she had I'm gonna say 2 inches. It was a big gash where she got in a fight with the other dog. They were fighting over the toys. I don't know. Anyway, I took her in, wait in the parking lot for an hour. 2 hours, then they take her in, then they bring her out. Well, 2:30 in the morning, became 3:30, became 4. Finally, we left her there overnight. We got her the next morning, blah, blah. 2 weeks later, 3 days later, you get the tube out, and then they bandage it. And then 2 weeks later, you get the stitches out, and they stop bandaging it. They told me it'd take 2 to 3 weeks for the stitches to heal, right? I started putting this oil on it every day. Those stitches are gone. You cannot even see where that scar was. And now she can wear a necklace again. Her little, with her charms, because it tells you where they live and they've had their rabies and all that. They tell me she's going to wear that for 2 to 3 weeks. That thing is healed. Now, I don't know if it was the CBD oil. Maybe my dog heals easy. Maybe the vet was wrong. I don't know. But it was a pretty deep thing, and it was a kind of a gash. Let's see who's called. Brendan. I can't. Now he's working at TMZ. I wonder what the gossip is. Oh, remind me.
Oh, he's at TMZ?
To give you some gossip after I get off the phone. I've got some that you can't print. It is so juicy. Okay, remind me. So anyway.
They want to know why your bottle's yellowish, but that's because it's got CBD.
Oh, this one?
I think.
Oh no, this one has it has like a vitamin drink in it. I put a vitamin drink in it. It's an immune booster, which this girl sent me from Canada, and then Candace, she got it for me, and I'm telling Jason, I have more energy. I think clearer. It's like caffeine. I feel so good when I take it. IMMUNITI or something. I don't even know if you can buy it online yet, or if you can only get it in Canada. Tony told me yesterday the borders are still closed in Canada. Did you know that? So I didn't know that. Well, whatever. The Canadian borders are closed, but the Italian borders, come on in, bring the virus.
The borders are closed at 22 or 22nd Street too, where I live. I'm not letting anybody in.
Yeah, me too. They drop the stuff out, and we wait till they're gone, and we spray it, and we scoot it in and let it sun out for a while. By the way, that machine came from RJ's room today, Jason.
Okay.
So.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Well, so the dog groomer that comes every 3 weeks hasn't been coming because I don't want her coming. So we're grooming the dogs ourselves. The baby's hair, James, is getting so long. I noticed yesterday, I looked at her and her eyes, who were down to here, I'm like, she can't see. He can't see the poor thing.
Neither can I.
So I cut all his bangs where he could see. And I couldn't believe I neglected him. I didn't think about it.
Oh,
anyway,
goodness.
so I told Frey to tell the dog groomer, come and get paid every 3 weeks, even though we're not using her, because these people are struggling. But then I realized, do you know how many people I realize I pay that I don't need? I've cut everybody's hours to nothing. I've gotten rid of people that I'm still paying. I'm still paying the dog groomer. I could cut my overhead in half if I was a stingy bitch and just wanted to cut people off, because if you tell them they have to get it done in 3 hours instead of 8, they do it. Mm-hmm. But anyway, I'm going to stick with my loyal little crew, but don't think I didn't notice it. Remember when I told you when I ran the warehouse in San Antonio, we were doing at least $100,000 a week. And so I went out in the warehouse because I said, I'm paying you guys by the hour, and it seems like we're not getting as much product out as we should be. So I went out there and I had a contest who could do it properly with no mistakes in a certain amount of time. And I started timing how much they thought they were getting a contest. Well, what I was really doing was finding out how many orders they could get out in an hour, legitimately. It was 3 times what they were getting out.
Yeah.
So then all of a sudden I said, this is your quota every day to get paid. Because, it's like if you don't go out there and do it and time it, I went out there and timed how many I could do. And I was faster than all of them, and I didn't break a nail doing it. And so they started picking up the pace, and I cut my overhead. So I had 11 to 7 shift, a 3 to 7 shift, and a 7 to 3 shift. And I kept them all running like a clock. You know, I used to be really tough when I had my whip in my hands. I've gotten easier over the years. So while I was waiting for the dogs out in the car, I was like, you know, this isn't so bad. I'm in the car, I've got the news on, I've got the air on, and, you know, I'm talking to RJ, I'm talking to Roy. Imagine these people sitting in their car for 10 hours, 12 hours at the food bank.
Wow.
It breaks my heart.
Yeah, it's really sad.
It's so sad. And I don't know, I think they're doing everything they can do, and I notice it's not one line anymore. You pull up and it's 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 lines with little tents, and you pull up and they put it in your car. But most of these people that they interviewed said they've never had any government subsidizing in their entire life. They've never been to a food bank. They've never gotten food stamps. It's just a horrible thing. And so I was like, I'm sitting here in this Mercedes with the air on and the news on with my husband and my son and my dog. What do I have to complain about? So I got to sit in the parking lot in the heat. Well, at least the heat kills the virus, apparently, for 2 or 3 hours or 4 hours or whatever. I don't have anything to complain about. But speaking of, so Mother's Day, Roy, God bless him, he tries. He's really sweet. He's got the biggest heart, but he just really doesn't know how normal things work in life. I told you, fired him from the ordering. He just cannot order.
That got picked up by the press.
Oh, it did?
They were like, I got 4 Google alerts on
really?
you firing Roy.
Oh, my God. Well, he really can't order. I mean, that day I told him to order oatmeal, and all those, dozens of oatmeal came with sugar and cinnamon and pre-packed, and then the other time I ordered granola, he ordered like enough for 5 neighborhoods. So God bless him. So he comes in there on Mother's Day. I sleep late if I can. He goes, because RJ wanted pancakes. Well, of course, we make pancakes at home. He goes, RJ wants pancakes from IHOP. I'm like, okay, because I don't really care. It's Mother's Day though, but I'd let it go. I was like, you couldn't order something from the Four Seasons, but I let it go. So I go, oh, so what do you want? I said, I'll just have 2 scrambled eggs. I don't even like to eat eggs. I don't even think they're healthy, but they were going there. It was the best that's on the menu of what I could order. So RJ orders his pancakes with the syrups and the this and the bananas and the, the strawberry and all that stuff. And they order Freda orders. And the Freda orders. And they got the French fries. They got all that. I'm just thinking to myself, oh, okay, I'll get 2 scrambled eggs. And I go there, and Roy drives me to go pick it up. Well, I had been since the sequestration started, or quarantine, I had been to IHOP once. I drove up, I went right up, I got it, I left. It was for RJ, pancakes. All right, I was in line, you're not going to believe this, for 2 hours.
Oh my gosh. What? For what reason?
6 feet apart. And I wanted to leave, but I kept calling them, and they won't answer. And I didn't leave because I kept thinking 5 more minutes, 5 more minutes, 5 more minutes. So I realized after an hour and a half, I'm just going to leave, and I'm never going to get the money back. You can't get them to answer. And then they started calling names, and then people would go up and get. So I said, well, my name is. By the time I was done, I had put 2 hours in. Well, the worst part of it, it started misting, and then it started raining. We didn't have an umbrella in the car because Paul had cleaned out the car to sanitize it really good and taken everything out of the car. And I kept calling Roy on my phone. I had to put my phone under my shirt so it wouldn't get rained on. And I had my sunglasses, and I was like, you've got to find, I know there's an umbrella in the car. I know. God bless him. He couldn't find the umbrella. After an hour, he found an umbrella. I'm like, it took you an hour to find an umbrella. How many square feet is in a car? So I'm like, okay, it's Mother's Day. You've now sent me to IHOP. I've waited 2 hours in the rain. You can't find an umbrella. Happy Mother's Day to me. Oh, whatever. It doesn't matter to me. Every day's Mother's Day. I just thought it was just like, really, I wish I had a picture of myself standing there. And finally, I got that umbrella. By the way, the umbrella was like this big. And then my phone was getting wet. I had to keep putting my phone down in my bra. It just went on. That was my happy Mother's Day. And then we sent those flowers to Karen, who's one of RJ's tutors, and they turned out to be idiots, It's thing, and by the way, with the pancakes, they didn't even have half the order straight. But, it's like people are whining and complaining. We're not having the business. We want to open up. We need to make money. Liberate my country. Liberate my store. You can't stop me. But then they can't get you an order at IHOP, and you can't get flowers delivered.
Silver Daughter, he says, some McDonald's in the UK have opened, and she says, in the drive-thru, and there are literally hundreds of cars queuing to get through the drive-thru.
To McDonald's?
Yeah, McDonald's. She says they're cuckoo.
But something's wrong with people.
Will Hughes says you're a good mom, though, for waiting for his pancakes.
Oh, God, I know. And I said, RJ, Mother's Day is for mothers, not for mothers to do for you. I don't really care. I don't stand on ceremony about stuff like that. I never have,
Yeah.
That's why when people get their digs at me, I just really laugh it off, because it's just not important in the overall, in overall life, stuff like that, or somebody saying hate mail or hate, comments. I'm like, oh my God, get a life. Anyway.
Tracy Limke says she is so glad you're back on. She says they're hanging out at her pool today, but she said she had to come in to see you, and her husband's. She said her husband's probably not loving it since we were watching an HGTV show before you came on. Because they're probably watching you on the television.
Whose husband's watching?
Tracy Limke.
Oh, so if my husband, don't worry, he ain't be watching this.
And she said she ordered her oil too, and she got it in less than 4 days, and it's great.
You know what? I've been using it here on my chest area, my neck area, and my face, and the back of my hands, and my cuticles, and then I've sometimes just used a little on my elbows or heels. But I am telling you, I was shocked. When we started working on it, literally a year and a half ago, the lab and the chemists and the CBD experts and the scientists, they were all like, this is a $500 product. You're going to have to sell it. I kept grinding and figuring and getting raw ingredients from here and raw ingredients from there and calling in favors. We got the price down. And now we've got it down with the discount. But I don't even care if we make money on it right now, because I know eventually we are, because people are going to tell everybody about it and they're going to start reordering.
Absolutely.
And it's so good for everybody. And I love it. People love it around their lips too. I like that.
She says she loves the products. And Katie Alarm wants to know if our skincare is sold in Canada.
That's an interesting question. We were shipping to Canada. Are we still shipping to Canada? Yeah, we're shipping to Canada.
Yeah, she just has to email us at hello@leeblack.com or call Jason in the office direct, and we will figure it out for you.
Yeah, I'll give you our phone number.
Well, the phone number's in the Instagram profile and everything.
Secret.
Yeah, it's no secret.
Then I watched, Billions is on. I started watching that, but I've only seen one episode. I've been too busy. But then the other night, I was so bored with the news, I couldn't take more news. So they had this National Enquirer scandals on. Did you guys ever see that?
I have it taped. I haven't watched it yet.
I'm
going to watch it.
So
I heard
good.
It was great. I know.
It
looks good.
So Paul Pope was Generoso Pope's son. He wanted to take over the National Enquirer when the dad died. Well, the mother, and he had a big falling out over it. He's a friend of ours, and the mother's a friend of mine, kind of. I don't know her that well, but Paul was a friend of ours, and he wanted to take it over, and the mother wouldn't do it. She sold it. Do you remember how much? For $200 or $300 or $400 million or something. Well, now this jerk takes it over, Pecker, and he turns it into really a propaganda National Enquirer. Now, he does have some legitimate stories in there, and he has some true stories in there, but they're peppered with embellishments. Like, remember, Hillary was going to die. She was going to drop dead. She had diseases and all this, and now, here she is. And it went on. There's 100 examples of that. But when I watched that, they had the catch and kill story where he would go up and buy up all these stories and kill the stories. Say, I'm going to give you a book. I'm going to get you this. I'm going to get you a TV series. He'd buy the thing up cheap, and then he would kill the story and lock it in the safe. Well, apparently he was a Trump operative all that time. And if you go back and think about the National Enquirer, it was all anti-Hillary and all praising Trump. And then he did a 10-page pamphlet promoting the Saudi Arabia family to give them legitimacy. And he made it a one-time publication for $5 or $10 or whatever, and it was glossy and big. And he was making a big PR move for the Saudis, probably because Trump and Kushner were trying to put some kind of deal together for him. But it was really fascinating. I mean, I don't know. You got to watch it. And then one of my friends turned, I forget how old, and they had a viral birthday party for him, Jason. Did you know about that? I have to tell you about it. You will not believe. They had, I'm just going to say 10 A-list celebrities singing, like big name people. I'll give you the story later. I think they wanted to keep it quiet because they only had 400 or 500 people watching it. If I had that many A-list performers, I'd have told the whole world, tune in, send in $1, I'm giving the money to the homeless. Yeah. But anyway, but I mean, it was brilliant. It was great. They did a really good job. Oh, back to the oil. It's 1,000 milligrams natural cannabis sativa, sudden youth, anti-aging, nourishing oil, custom created, unique oil-based formula that contains super powered antioxidants designed to deliver consistent results on every application. What that means is it penetrates into the skin. Once you put it on, it doesn't feel like an oil and it's not greasy, it's gone. It's in. It penetrates several layers of the skin. Hydrates, gives supple skin, revitalizes your skin. It's a powerful cellular restoration and with anti-aging properties, helps with your skin's firmness, lift, and of course, people are saying less wrinkles, fine lines and wrinkles, and I believe it. It gives your skin a smooth and even glow and helps you retain moisture. Your skin is like a car. It needs oil and moisture. So now you have oil and moisture. We're calling it Sudden Youth because I love the Sudden Youth name. Thank you, Mike Levy, my little genius, amazing discovery friend that died a few years ago of mesothelioma. So many people I know died from that. There was a time when that asbestos was just everywhere. By the way, Trump wants to make asbestos legal again. People died in masses from asbestos after 20 or 30 years. It just kept manifesting in their lungs and they died. I know 2 or 3 people that died in their early 50s from it. He wants to make it legal again.
Johnson & Johnson announced this morning that they're going to stop selling their talc baby powder because of the misinformation, is what they're calling, that has been strewn about it, having asbestos in it, and the women that have filed lawsuits and stuff against it.
The thing is, those women got a big settlement. They were saying it caused ovarian cancer. Now, what I thought was because of that, they had already taken the particles out that were causing the cancer, if that's true. But women got a big settlement. They won a big trial.
So apparently, when I was hearing about this morning, the woman that filed the lawsuit against them, she won, but they did not grant her any damages.
Yeah, well, see, they always do that because then the floodgates open. So that's a compromise. Like, okay, we'll pay you off, but we're not opening the floodgates for everybody else. Okay, ask me anything. But yeah, I mean, I use that powder once in a while, but not a lot.
Look at those.
Look at these before. Jason tells me to look at them.
Look at them before.
Oh my God. Alan Rothschild, did you miss me? I've been back at the bedside as an RN during the COVID. Oh, Alan, I hope you weren't. Get all your protective gear.
He was.
Is there a chance of an RHOM reboot? KDEEXO. Nope, I don't think so. I think the fat lady's sang. And I think the hate club is gone away. Adventure Zach, have you had drinks with fans? I don't have any fans. That's funny. I like to talk charity. Oh, you're sweet.
We do have a lot of people that bring up, like, they think you should run a contest where people, like, donate for your charity, and then they get to have, like, a sit-down lunch with you to discuss whatever.
Oh, my God. Well,
I hear that on Instagram, like, at least once a week.
I'm always willing to give people free advice on a charity, and it's worth what you pay for it. Free. Would I return for another season? That's just not going to happen. They're not going to ask. Florida girl, who do I stay in touch with? The nice girls, the good girls, the sweet girls, the good-hearted girls. And that's it.
They have a video short on Bravo of you talking about how you just keep in touch with the nice girls now.
Okay, so go to Bravo's website and you'll see. How's Roy? Say, Papa T 2870. Tell him I said hello. Well, I will tell him. I don't know who you are, but I should. Maybe it's your name, Papa T 2870. If you had your real name on here, maybe I would know.
That's what they gave us, was that they said, tell him it's Papa T.
Okay, he'll probably, he's like, he knows more than I do, believe me. He knows everything. Stacey, do you think Trump won't wear a mask because he doesn't want to ruin his orange makeup? Well, that makeup would rub off on it. There's no question about that. I think he's a big, tough boy. He doesn't need it. He's immune to everything. Meanwhile, he's scared to death. He's sneaking around, making sure everybody gets 5 tests a day, and that everybody else around him wears a mask, and that he's saying he's taking the chloroquine. So 2 things. 1, he's either lying, which is wrong, or 2, he's stupid, which is wrong. Either way, buffoon.
Listen, I think they should have somebody there every day to make sure he's taking that.
Yeah. Let's offer to fill his prescription.
As a matter of fact, I'll work for free for the next 7 months.
What are my thoughts on Kelly traveling during the pandemic? I think she should stop it. I texted her and I called her and left her a message. I said, girl, get a grip. I don't want her to get sick.
She did comment the other day. She said she apologized if she had upset people by
but
traveling
what was
and all
she
that. But
upsetting about people about? Was that what it was? I saw that.
people were mad
apology.
that she was traveling so much,
I don't have
back
a
and forth
problem
from
if
New
you
York.
want to travel, but I just don't know. I mean, you got to sterilize the seat. You got to wear the mask. I don't know. I mean, listen. I feel like that all those people out there that are resisting this are like the canaries in the coal mine. Let's see what happens to them, and then we'll all decide. I love you, Leah. Oh, thank you, Sally Mae. Oh, you watched on Tube. Missed the Housewives. Binge the episodes. Want you back. Love from Austin. Chevy girl. Oh, you got to watch What Crappens. Ronnie's goes back and forth between L.A. and Austin, but I think he may be stuck in Austin because he can't get home.
Yeah, he's been there a while.
Let's see. Angel, miss you on Jeff Lewis. When will I on? Can I call in? You know what?
Oh,
I was supposed to call
I
in.
got some tea on that.
Okay. I was supposed to call in, and I need to find out if I'm going to call in.
Have you been listening to his show this week?
Not this week.
So I guess his housekeeper tested positive or got exposed, and now they're not allowed to have any more guests on the show and for a couple of weeks.
He said that on the show?
They talked about it.
Why would he say that on the show?
In length, because Heather was supposed to be on that day, and everyone was wondering where she was, and he said, well, this is what happened.
Well, he should have just said she's not here, because now that's going to open a Pandora's box.
It's already open.
Sometimes you just don't have to tell everything. Jeff, call me.
Yeah, she was either exposed or whatever, but he told her to stay home and she'd still be getting a paycheck and all that kind of stuff.
She was exposed?
She was exposed, but they had been around her.
Oh, the housekeeper.
The nanny. The nanny.
The nanny was exposed.
Yeah, it was the nanny. Sorry,
Oh,
it wasn't the housekeeper.
God.
The nanny. Yeah.
Oh, Lord, Jeff, do you have to tell everybody everything? Yeah. I hope he's okay. I hope all of them are okay.
Yeah, and you know,
all my friends.
Doug did not sound well yesterday. He was coughing and acting.
He was coughing and
on
acting,
the radio show.
and they didn't have their masks on.
And they made a comment about how they were like, "Please stop." And,
you know what? They should put the visors on, because
Yes.
I have a visor when I go out.
They should just all be in giant bubbles.
Yeah. Well, we're all at least 6 to 10 feet apart here, and everybody's got a
for
mask
sure.
on but me, and I had on one until just now. Let's see. Could I use my connections? Everyone thinks I'm so connected.
I know, this
to
is
get Governor Cuomo to donate some of the hand sanitizers to the Navajo Nation hotspot. Oh, many do not have running water, and all have. After all, we did take Manhattan for seashells. Oh, that's very sweet, Diane Bruzier Rhodes. You know, they should. But I did hear that Ireland is paying the Indians back, the Navajo Indians back, by giving them all sorts of stuff because they felt like they owed them a debt for them standing behind them back when.
Yes.
So, you know what? There are a lot of good people, but I don't know that Cuomo has any extra hand sanitizers, but you know what? If we know any manufacturers that do, we should tell them to donate. By the way, we may come out with a hand lotion that's also a sanitizer, and I'll tell you why. Those hand sanitizers, they are damn
They crack
hard
your
on
hands and dry out.
skin. They smell like alcohol or ethanol or worse. They dry out your hands, and that's why I've been using so much of the oil on my hands too, because of that hand sanitizer. Jason's over there putting that on his hand. Yeah, because every time I use the sanitizer, I have to use a hand lotion. So we're working on, and we may come out with a CBD hand lotion with a sanitizer in it in the next month. We're trying. It's so hard to get the raw ingredients, but we're trying.
It's hard to get the containers.
And the containers. All the containers come from China.
The containers are the issue.
So listen, let me know if you would buy it if we did. It wouldn't be cheap, but it wouldn't be expensive. It'd be like a nice hand lotion price, because it is going to be hand lotion, but it also sanitize, nourish, and moisturize your skin. Leah's life lesson. Write the rest of your story and start now. Yay! Doesn't James do good graphics?
Oh, thank
I
you.
think so.
People are saying they're so excited for your hand sanitizer lotion.
Really?
Yeah, so they said.
We're trying. We've got the raw ingredients finally. That's taken 2 months. Now it's the packaging. We would have to put it in 4 ounce, and we wanted to put a 3 ounce or a 2 ounce so you could put it in your pocket. But a 4 ounce would fit in your purse. It would fit in your pocket. It'd be the same as our moisturizer and our wash and our exfoliant is in. But you know, we have to keep the cost down, because you know you can get this junk on the market for $5, but it smells horrible and it ruins your skin. In celebrity tweets, Bryan Adams tweeted, "Tonight was supposed to be the beginning of a Tenacity of Giza, whatever that is, and Royal Albert Hall concerts. But thanks to some," listen to this, "effing, bad eating, wet market, animal selling,"
Oh my goodness.
"making greedy bastards, the whole world is on hold." Well, how do you really feel about that?
How do you really feel?
Oh my God. Now, Michael Jordan's shoes from when he was a rookie sold
Yeah, I saw that.
at Sotheby's for $560,000. I mean, they were autographed. I wouldn't pay $560,000 for somebody's smelly old shoes, no matter who wore them.
You know who has a pair of shoes that are in a glass case? And I think they got them at the gala one year.
Yeah.
It was Mary Ann.
Yeah, we had a bunch of
She
athletes.
has like a big athlete shoe
Are they
in the middle.
his? Yeah.
And I was like, whose
They're like
shoe
a
is
size
this?
15
It's
and
like
18.
a huge shoe.
We
I've never
got a
seen
pair
it.
donated. I can't remember who they were
Yeah,
from.
I was trying to
some
think
big, maybe Alonzo. I don't know. They were signed, and we put them in a big case.
Yeah.
I mean, they're so big. What are
She
you gonna
has
do
it
with them?
sitting next to a Buddha in her place
I
up
mean,
in Charlotte.
yes, if you're a fan, I mean, listen, I would have overpaid for a piece of Elizabeth Taylor's jewelry.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you notice I'm wearing my sweet little quarantine jewelry? Nothing too flashy.
All pearls today.
Oh, I wiped off my lipstick. That's the one problem with the mask. You know what we need? We need a mask that I thought about this. I could invent a mask. You have a flap in it so you can put a straw and get drunk. And then on the inside, you have a little thing that keeps your lipstick on. I'm so smart. Maybe I should get on that task force. Okay, so here's something. So so they're comparing, Trump is now on this rampage about Obama. I mean, for what? I mean, Obama's graduation thing was
That was
brilliant.
great.
And the funniest thing, he never said Trump's name. So
No.
the way I'm looking at that, if I'm Trump, I'm going to ignore it. Like, well, he ain't talking to me. But no, he comes out blasting, which is, if the shoe fits, wear it.
Yeah.
I mean, you just confess that it's you because you overreacted.
My
so
granddaddy
much
used to
it.
always say, if you throw a stick at a pack of dogs, the one that you hit's the one that barks the loudest.
That's right, exactly what happened.
That's what happened.
You know?
Oh my gosh, it was too funny. And then what was even funnier was he says, these politicians pretending like that they know what's going on, and then he goes, hell, some of them don't even pretend like they know what's going on.
His speech was so funny. And I was thinking at the time, I was like, that's very smart. He's not singling out anyone. He's not poking fun at anyone. He's not trying to make anyone look bad. He's laying out the facts about what's happening. And let's see who reacts.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be damned. The shoe fit and he shoved his foot right down in it. So Oscar wins. Obama has 1. Trump has 0. Nobel Peace Prizes. Obama has 1. Trump has 0. Popular vote wins. Obama has 2. Trump has 0. The art of impeachment. Articles of impeachment. Obama has 0. Trump has 2. Bankruptcies. Obama has 0. Trump has 6. Paid off porn stars. Obama has 0. Trump has 1. I think he might have 2, but 1. Marriages. Obama has 1 and Trump has 3. Sexual misconduct claims. Obama has 0 and Trump has 24.
That's crazy.
So if you want to compete, all right, so we're going to take a little second break here.
We'll take our break for our commercials.
Okay.
Also, we were at 32 minutes, so if we can keep it under an hour.
You better give me a little, like a 2-minute notice.
All right, we're back.
Okay, so in news, this woman adopted 3 French bulldogs. She's 52 years old. They found her dead in the yard. One of the dogs attacked her, basically ate up her arms and legs. I mean, it made me
Oh, my
sick to my
goodness.
stomach. It was a vicious attack with scratching and everything. It made
horrible.
me literally ill. I can't. French bulldogs, I didn't know they were violent. I just can't. She adopted them. When you adopt a dog, you really have to see what their temperament is. The one of ours we've adopted is neurotic, but she's not dangerous. She's just crazy. So a woman, okay, I told you about these pictures people take. Okay, so here are these people. They'll risk their life for a photo. She goes, first of all, to the Yellowstone National Park when it's closed, so violation number 1. Then she falls back into a thermal feature and burns herself. Drives out of the canyon. They had to airlift her just to get that fucking picture. What is wrong with people? My God, it's like if it isn't on social media, it didn't happen. So this park officials, I had to airlift her. I did that one. Okay, so now a cyclone's going to hit India and Bangladesh. With all this else going on, they're going to have a cyclone over there. Oh my God, the world's coming to an end.
And what about those dams in Michigan that failed, and all those people now, they're all in the middle of that.
And meanwhile, the climate is just, 4 more years of Trump and it's over, because he's in climate change denial. If for no other reason, you got to get rid of him for that and the fact that he didn't handle the pandemic right. I just can't. So now these anti-Trumpers have accused Fauci of sexual assault, and then one of them admitted that they were being paid by Trump people to accuse him of sexual assault. Are you kidding me?
It's ridiculous.
And he's 4 Friday nights in a row in the middle of the night where he thinks no one's going to notice. He's fired inspector generals, which are independent people hired over the years by Trump, by Bush, by Obama, by George W. Bush, by H.W. Bush. They're just supposed to make sure that everyone follows the guidelines, the laws, and the rules. And he's fired 4 in a row because he doesn't like them finding out what he's doing. And I tweeted out, no criminal wants a witness. So he's firing them. Apparently, what's his name sold $8 billion, Pompeo, of weapons to Saudi Arabia after Congress said he couldn't do it.
Yep.
So Congress says, no, you can't do it. They do it anyway by calling it a national emergency because it was an emergency that Saudi Arabia is going to be attacked by either Iran or Iraq or something. Bullshit. Somebody made some money on that deal. And somebody, was thinking, Kushner got $1 billion from Saudi Arabia to bail out the 666 building.
Right.
Now all of a sudden Saudi Arabia is able to get $8 billion in weapon transaction. So he was paid back. What's $1 billion when you're getting 8? Come on.
And Kushner got 3 grants recently from the government to build these real estate
grants.
One is for here. You know where City Hall restaurant used to be?
Yeah,
He's wanting to build right there on Biscayne and 20th.
I mean, honestly, and another one of Trump's big supporters got a $90 million bailout from the I just can't. And now the doctor went up and testified in front of Congress as a whistleblower, and he said, listen, we knew about this in January. We warned them. We begged them. We tried to get them to stock the stockpile. They sold the stockpile February 9th to China, trying to help China stop the virus, and didn't replenish it. And then meanwhile, they won't order the PPP made, and that we would not have had all these doctors and nurses die, or special essential worker people die, if they would have had all this protection. And now he's out touting hydrochloroquine. Why is he out touting this drug that they're saying has a lot of issues and it hasn't been completely tested properly? Because somewhere along the way, he stockpiled massive amounts of it, thinking it was going to be the silver bullet that solved everything and made him the hero, and now he's got to sell it.
And he's got a 5% stake in the pharmaceutical company.
He's got to sell it.
Yep.
That's what they're saying. But that evidence I haven't seen, but I have heard it several times. But somebody along the way, Kushner, the kids, the guy that's made it. So he's got a massive stockpile that he's got to sell because the government bought massive amounts of it thinking, I'm going to be the hero, everybody's going to go on this, and it's all going to magically disappear between the sun and the hoax. Oh, God. Apparently in Florida it started much earlier, according to the Herald. It started in January, maybe even in December.
Yeah.
They think 26 different people had it. I swear, I think in January after
I think you had it, because remember, I got sick right after that. I was sick at Christmas, and as soon as
me too.
I talked to my doctor this week, I'm going to go get an antibody test in a couple weeks to see
I'd like to do that.
Just to see how it's done.
But let me tell you, first of all, when I went to this doctor in L.A., and he wound up having it with no symptoms. That was right before I left. Then I went to jury duty. And after jury duty, I got deathly ill for like 5 weeks. Remember, it was spring break, and I kept saying, RJ, if I still have this sore throat and I'm sleeping all day, I can't do anything with you. And I think, looking back, I might have had it, or maybe a mild version of it, you know. But I had a burning sore throat for literally almost 3 weeks.
You were in bed for 3 weeks, and there was that dry cough, too, that you had.
Yes, and I had the cough.
Exactly.
So I'm wondering. But listen, if I did, that means we have antibodies.
Yeah, no, that's true. And, I have asthma. I already have a respiratory issue, so you
have to be careful.
I was thinking, if I get it, I'm going to really know it, because it's going to really hit me hard. But I'm still not sure that I didn't have it back in
Well, men apparently get it more often than women. And now what about all these kids? Yeah.
she got the test back, and they said that she had the antibodies. And then she was trying to think back, but I didn't have any symptoms, so she went for a second test, and then came back that she doesn't have any.
Yeah,
See,
the tests are
testing is
inconsistent,
not,
though.
The testing's not
Even
fine-tuned
Abbott
yet.
said 15% of the tests are wrong.
It's not fine-tuned.
That's not good
You
in
know
an
what? That's
antibody
our
test.
fault, because we had until really November they knew this was coming. When they warned Israel, Trump warned Israel about it. We knew in November that this was coming. There was no reason not to get ahead of the testing and the stockpile and the PPE and the rest of it. He's in denial. I've realized about Trump people, they don't want to hear the facts. If you do confront them with the facts, they, that's fake news.
Oh, no.
And they're in denial. I've realized that. And they have some underlying issue that's more important to them than anything else. Maybe it's racism that they won't admit. Maybe it's their gun. Maybe it's an abortion. Maybe it's whatever.
Yeah.
You know? And then these two churches, 17 people got it. Several people died in another church. And then the other day I saw in the news this one priest was giving, what do you call the water when they squirt the water?
Holy water.
The holy water with
he was
the
a gun.
squirt gun.
I saw him doing that the other day at a drive-by.
Yeah, you can drive by and get the holy water squirted on you. I was like, damn, these preachers, what a racket. I could do that all day long and put my whole thing on, but I thought it was a sweet gesture that he was doing.
Adam Dobson said, he's asked a lot of questions. Actually, Adam, we answered a lot of your questions before you got on, but he was saying that he tested positive, and he said he had a fever, and it felt like someone was pressing on his lungs every time he would walk up a flight of steps or take a breath.
See, that's the thing. There's so many different symptoms that, like I mostly was the sore throat, the cough, and just tired all the time.
Right.
I never had fever. So
And he said he had horrible night sweats,
strands
too.
of it. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people say they're hallucinating. By the way, they say chloroquine can cause hallucinations, and I'm like, Trump's been on it for 3 years.
I saw them talking to this doctor that got sick, and then he's been out for 6 weeks, and he woke, like he thought yesterday when he came to or whatever, that he had only been out for a day and it had been 6 weeks.
And they have, and apparently you can have hallucinations on it, and these crazy visions of grandeur and all this, and I'm like, maybe Trump really is taking that chloroquine. Apparently, 1 million workers in Florida are unemployed, and let me tell you what's making me furious about that. There is no doubt in my mind they are doing everything they can to set up obstacles to keep people from getting their unemployment checks. The lines, the online stuff. One guy was tweeting out, you know what, I have a little girl at home. I can't get my check. I've just given up on it. I even DM'd him and said, I'll send you groceries, you know. And he DM'd me back and said, you know, I'm not that desperate yet. Save it for somebody that was really that desperate. But he said, you know, I've done everything online. I've done everything in person. I've done everything, just like they told me, and I can't get the check. He goes, I've finally just given up. Well, that's what they're counting on. They're counting on you giving up. So don't give up. You get your check if you're entitled to it.
And let me ask you, as a legal analyst.
As Jeff Lewis, legal analyst.
Let me ask you something. I was talking to some of my friends yesterday who applied like the day that they were allowed to do it. They still haven't received their unemployment in Florida. They've still been trying to do it. The governor was on the TV yesterday bragging about how they've paid out $2.8 billion or whatever to everyone. Well, no one I know has gotten any unemployment. They've received checks from their employers, that CARE Act and all that kind of stuff, but they haven't gotten their unemployment. So, Leah, why, if this is the case, and these people need this money, and I know how it is because I've been in situations early on in my life where if you don't pay the bill, then you get there's a fine on top of the bill being late. You can barely afford to pay the bill. So these things are skyrocketing at a rate. So when the government doesn't get paid the taxes, they charge us huge interest and do all of those things. So why is it that if this is a government program that they've paid into and they're not getting it back,
it's their money, I know.
Why are they not getting interest on it?
Well, but
and could they sue to get it?
Well, you cast the problem.
That's what we were talking about. Is there a civil?
That's basically the problem. That's the problem. But if it were me, I would round up every person I knew that couldn't get a check, and I would have them on a petition, and I would get a law firm to do a class action lawsuit.
That's what I was saying yesterday to everyone.
Because it'd probably go all the way to the Supreme Court.
Exactly. I thought it would too.
Because it would be setting precedent. Because you know you can't sue the government, and that is not fair. Because they can penalize you, but you can't sue them.
And let me tell you something. Once I didn't pay my taxes, and I didn't know I owed like $1,000 out of what I had paid.
And it became $3.
And they didn't even tell me for two and a half years. And then they came back, and it was $7,000 by the time I owed it.
They're like, oh, good, we got another one. Put this in the pile for a year. I can't stand
and now they audit me every year now.
Oh, they do?
Since then, yes.
So is anybody watching? Did you guys watch the Real Housewives of Atlanta reunion?
I did, and I loved it. And I think it's probably better than when they're in person because they're saying stuff they'd never say if they were sitting in the same room.
I was flipping through, and I kept going back and forth between that and the news because I wanted to see I didn't follow the show enough to have a real opinion on it, but I thought it was very good.
Yeah, I thought they did a good job considering.
I mean, they had some one-liners in there, and I think they probably had some notes in front of them, and I think they were more freed up at their house, and I thought it was actually pretty
They were
good.
drinking too, so that was the other thing.
But I don't know how they're going to continue reality TV. How are you going to film it? Everybody's going to wear a mask and stand 6 feet apart. They're going to have 6 cameras going. And then you've got twice the people and twice the germs. I can't. And then Beverly Hills, boy, they're getting into it.
Yeah,
I guess
that's getting ready to
explode.
I think tonight's supposed to be.
Oh, it's on tonight?
Tonight's
Wednesday? Oh, okay, yeah, because I want to see the whole storyline with Denise.
Yeah, the whole thing with Denise is getting ready to blow up.
I hope it's not true. I hope it's just, I don't know. I don't wish that on her because she's got those little girls and her husband, they're happily married, apparently.
And New York's been good.
In New York, Luann's gonna start drinking.
She started drinking last week, yeah.
Oh, she did? No, she just had a sip.
She just had a sip, but they acknowledged it.
Yeah, well, she acknowledged it tasted really good.
Yeah.
I saw that clip.
Yeah.
I don't watch all of it. I try to watch as much as I can because I do like to stay up on it. But it's just so many other things that are so important right now. So that's the other reason I think reality TV is going to have a big problem because, it was fun and games while it lasted, but I mean, do you really want to see people going out and partying and going on trips and drinking and eating in nice restaurants when you can't be doing that and it's going to be a long time before you can, and when you'd rather watch the news to find out how not to spread the disease, how not to catch the disease, what kind of medicines to take, what kind of medicines not to take, the food banks, who needs money. I mean, it's going to be a hard line to walk. They'll do it. There'll be people that'll watch.
Sylvia Daughtery says there's no such thing as just a sip. That's very true, especially for someone who has the disease,
there is
alcoholism.
For the people that are allergic to it, that's true.
Yeah.
So in royalty, Prince Albert sat across from Prince Charles at an event, and now Prince Albert has the virus, according on March 25th. Wow. That was. And this is the 2-year anniversary of Meghan and Harry this week, and apparently they're living in LA, and I feel sorry for them. I feel like that the nasty press just booted them out.
Yeah, they did.
I think it just booted them out. And then Roy Horn of Sigfield and Roy died. That was very sad. He defended the lion up to the very end. He said he passed out on the stage from something he had, and the lion grabbed him by the neck to pull him to the side to protect him, and that's where he got the stroke. That was a very sad story.
Yeah. We lost a lot of people in the last couple of weeks. Didn't Kenny Rogers die as well? And,
Kenny Rogers has died. Oh, so many died. There's been so many. I didn't write them all down. There were a whole bunch.
And Buzz Aldridge's wife died
yesterday, 100 and something years old, and then at one of those big jazz players and a lot. So Kelly Dodd stepped in it again, of course. I should have put this in the housewife section. I'll put it in the celebrity section, the lowest hanging fruit celebrity section. And so she tweeted back. No, some guy tweeted her back when people were beating up on her. He goes, "Just put a hot picture of yourself and I forgive you. And I will get over COVID-19. Please press your breast against my face. And if that doesn't bring me back, if I get COVID-19, please press your breast against my face. If that doesn't bring me back, nothing will."
Oh my gosh. It's pretty creepy.
In other celebrity news, the judge is not going to drop the charges against Lori Loughlin, the USC scandal with the kids in the rowboat.
Oh, they're going to prison.
Yeah, they're going to have a problem. Well, now prisons, the prison populations are the worst hard hit, and I've said it and I'll say it again. One, the sentences are way too long. They always have been. They've been since the minimum mandatory sentencing started with Ronald Reagan and George H.W. Bush when they were going after the drugs. They made those minimum mandatory sentences, and it's just ridiculous. And then Clinton did the 3 strikeouts. So it's just ridiculous. The sentences need to be cut down like to 70% anyway. Let's start. Unless they're violent criminals that risk other people's lives, and then I think that's fine. Lock them up, throw away the key. But white crime criminals, first offense and stuff like that. So first, they're way too long. Secondly, after you've served a certain amount in this environment with this stupid virus, then they should get house arrest. If they haven't served enough, they should still get house arrest and go back to prison when it's safe. I don't think you get the death penalty when you're sitting on a 2 or 5 or 10 year thing. So Jeff Bezos will become the first trillionaire as he consolidates the retail market, but he won't give hazardous pay, and he's not giving benefits to part-time people.
And that's after he's the world's first trillionaire, and that's after he gave away half of his fortune to his ex-wife in the divorce.
She was generous. I think she only took $1 billion, and she said she was going to donate most of it to charity. Or I don't know what she got, but she was giving a lot of it to charity.
Right.
Now, Trump hates Jeff Bezos so much, and he hates people being able to vote by mail so much, he may literally let the institution of the U.S. Post Office go under.
Next week. That's it.
By the way, if they go under, we use the post
I don't know
office
what we're
every
gonna
day.
do. Absolutely.
Our freight's going to go up, which means your freight's going to go up. It's just like when the goods from China come in here.
Yeah.
We pay more, you pay more. We're paying for all this. Don't fall for this nonsense that China's paying for the tariffs and that if they don't double the price of the post office, we're losing money. It's a service. It's not a business. It's called the U.S. Post Office Service. It's not called the U.S. Post Office for-profit business. Oh.
But let's open up Space Force.
Yeah, we got the Space Force and the wall.
Let's not save the post office,
yeah,
but let's
Germs
do
can't
Space
get
Force.
over the wall. Let's build a wall. Howard Stern tells his supporters that Trump hates you. He will go wherever celebrities were. He was so desperate to be part of a celebrity crowd, and that he's mad that Hollywood has cut him out. So he says the people that Trump despises the most love him the most. He wouldn't let them he wouldn't let you into his hotel, he goes. He thinks he's disgusted by you. He thinks you're a loser. So he says, I don't hate Donald Trump. I hate you for being so stupid to vote for him, for not having the intelligence not to vote for him. Now, how much time do we have? Because I want to talk about the virus resistors. How much time? So the virus resistors. First of all, some of them running around with hang Fauci signs, according to the U.S. Post. Hang him, like kill him, like hang him from a tree, Dr. Fauci. That's just unbelievable. It's just, I just can't, Then this flat earther woman's running around, screaming at the stores that won't let her in, but she doesn't have the mask on. And then a woman coughed and licked and wiped her saliva on an ATM machine in Toronto to protest. And then a woman standing there with a sign saying, muzzles are for dogs and slaves, not for free humans. But if you look at it, by the way, today outside the courtrooms all across the country, they're putting dead bodies. They're doing a protest. Wow. But if you look at it, the U.S. has 4.2% of the world population and 28.2% of the deaths. I mean, that Corona-19 is named 19 after year 2019. Mm-hmm. This is the middle of May, and we still don't even have testing. And you look at Korea, they had 200 deaths. They've started testing like that, and they were on top of it. I mean, it's just unbelievable how it's all been handled. And then this other woman, you could call me a grandmother killer if you want to, but I'm not sacrificing my home, my food, and my food on my table, and my doctors, and my dentist, and my museums, and my restaurants, and my zoo, and my grandkids, and my kids' teachers to make other people more comfortable. If you want to stay locked up, fine, I won't. What is wrong with these protesters? A ticket officer was spat on and coughed on a London train station, and now she died at the age of 47, according to the New York Daily News. At the Capitol in Michigan, they traced 17 infections to that protest they had when they were with their Nazi signs, Confederate signs, and AK-47s. Mm-hmm. Children's symptoms. Now these kids are getting some kind of an offspring from this virus. They already identified 7 strains. The one on the East Coast was far worse that came out of Italy than the one on the West Coast coming out of China. Mm-hmm. Now these children are getting some kind of them, and 2 or 3 of them under 5-year-old died, and an 18-year-old died, a couple of more died, and they're getting rashes, and they're swelling up, and they're
horrible. They even have them here in Miami. There's been 3 cases.
Of the kids?
Of the kids at Jackson, I saw yesterday.
I didn't hear that. And then they had these people dressed up as nurses, wasting this PPE equipment, protesting as a fake nurse. Mm-hmm. Those people are criminal. They should just go to damn jail. An Uber driver, this made national news, from Florida, said that he believed Trump when he said it was a hoax, and he believed that it was made up to hurt Trump. So he's now in a hospital bed, and his wife is probably not going to make it. She's been on the brink, and she's been on a ventilator for 3 years, and he's overweight, and he may or may not make it. He's been in the hospital all that time. South Korea has 50 million people. Their first breakout was before we had ours. They had 262 deaths, and we have over 90,000 deaths. The Las Vegas airport is going to be the first airport with PPE vending machines at the terminals. That's very smart. They should. They really should. And then in Virginia, I think this is very clever. It's going to become a cottage industry. They're setting up mannequins at some of the empty tables in between. I think it's hilarious.
Well, I saw that they're doing that.
I wonder if they need any eye cream or CBD oil or any of our little masks.
In Japan, they're doing that. They're in the where they play baseball in the stadiums. They're putting fake cutouts of people in the stands so that it looks like.
Oh, and they had the not the Indy 500, but they had some big race thing the other day. I was by Zoom. You could watch it on TV, but
so
you couldn't
apparently the NBA is talking about they're going to try to have games without people in the stadiums, but they're going to use an audience track so that when people watch from home, it'll still
show the
be
reaction.
the reaction.
I've noticed the late night shows that are doing that are much more interesting than the ones that don't have any feedback. And then Texas is opening, even though they're getting 1,000 new cases a day. It has doubled. I just can't even believe some of these people. A mayor in Queens, New Zealand, said he celebrated the nation's raising the restrictions by bungee jumping. So let's just go from dying for the virus to dying from bungee jumping. The Hollywood Bowl will not be open this year. The Delta and American Airlines were told that we're requiring the mask, but if anybody refuses to wear them, not to let the conflict escalate and let it go. So what's the point? It only takes one person, so you can't fly. Yep. This could have all been avoided. They would have started testing early, shut everybody down mandatory for 30 days, gotten it under control, and then came out and said, we will open up if you all wear a mask and social distance. If you do that, we will open up. The minute you're not doing it, we have to shut down again. It would have all been handled, but we got a, oh God, a buffoon. I'm not even going to say, I can't. And the protesters are putting the body bags in front of the state capitals today. In deaths, Ohio has 86% of the amount of deaths. New York 81, California 79, and Florida 60, Texas 57, and Georgia 39. They estimate by the end of the year we'll have 1.2 million deaths. I mean, that's just, it makes me ill. Oh my God. Oh my God. I have to pick between because we're running out of legs.
Well, we've gone over, so you can go.
Why didn't you tell me?
I did.
I didn't see that.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, we were trying to finish within an hour. All right,
okay.
So we'll say bye.
You can keep it going.
Yeah, but what's the point? I wanted to post it. We can't post it now.
It's already. Well, we can post it. It just won't go to Instagram TV.
All right. Well, anyway, a grocery store replaced their salad bar with liquor, and that's the story. All right. So we're going to say bye, everybody. Okay.
Well, so make sure you use the podcast code at leahblack.com to get the oil. Are we going to be back next week?
I don't know. We'll let you know. Stand by. I'm in demand.
That's right. You are in demand. We had a good audience today, too.
All right, everybody. We had fun. I'd love to go on and ramble on about Trump, but I'll save it. All right. I'll talk to you guys later. All right. Bye. I didn't see the 3. And then you should have said, I didn't see the 3. And then you should have said,